Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at the next installment of the Deities and Demigods of Greyhawk. This from Dragon number 70. These were written by Gary Gygax for the Greyhawk campaign universe, and I use them actively in my Greyhawk campaign. So we're going to take a look at each of the deities that's brought forth here and what they bring to your gaming table today on page 121. Dragon number 70 from February 1983. Hard to believe this particular issue is 39 years old now. And inside we got the new AD&D adventure, some tournament tips, and the Smith NPC. I have to admit, I never really used the Smith NPC. I didn't really bother with that. If they needed a blacksmith, I just kind of stuck a blacksmith in. So here we go to, we did get from the Sorcerer's Scrolls, Social Status and Birth Tables, new for AD&D. And this is by Gary Gygax also. This made its way into Unearthed Arcana. We did use these, starting with this issue and when they were in Unearthed Arcana. It doesn't really make much difference to your characters, but it can provide you with a decent adventure hook. That's really all there is for it. Alrighty. Coming over to page 20. Bokob the Uncaring. He's our first deity. Bokob is very popular at our table, if as a source for a joke, if nothing else, because all I have to say, or anybody has to say, is Bokob, and everybody else will pretty much say, who cares? So Bokob the Uncaring. His portfolio is Neutrality, Magic, Arcane Knowledge, Foreknowledge, and Foresight. Armor class -8, 354 hit points, 125% magic resistance. That's pretty powerful. He is plain. Is the Concordant Opposition. He operates as a 24th level magic user and 24th level illusionist. Bokob doesn't really care if anybody worships him or not, hence the Uncaring. He cares about magical knowledge only. His lair has pretty much one of every kind of magic item there is. He has all kinds of... he neither seeks nor avoids confrontations. He can blast with a disc of Concordant Opposition, which does some lot of damage if you're 13 dice or less or have less than 50% MR, and it'll just blow you out of existence. He can only be hit by +5 or better weapons. No spells of mental control or possession affect him, and the worshippers of Bokob are spread throughout the Flayness. His clerics wear purple robes with gold trim. Those attaining 9th level or higher actually able to handle simple magic items normally usable only by magic users. So a Wand of Illusion, a Crystal Ball, Robe of Useful Items, that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. That would definitely make it worth being a cleric of Bokob. Now we go to Bokob's only acknowledged servant, Zaggig. Yes, we've all heard of Zaggig. Zaggig was of Greyhawk originally. He started out as an eccentric magic user in Greyhawk, became mayor of Greyhawk, and had a long history in Greyhawk, including building Castle Greyhawk, and then eventually, through the god trap in the castle, was able to attain godhood. He's a demigod. He worships Bokob. He's the only worshiper, or the only known servant of Bokob. So he is Zaggig. His portfolio is Humor, Occult Studies, Unpredictability, and Eccentricity. Armor class -2, 121 hit points. His magic resistance is 100%. He's chaotic neutral. And his worshippers on any, but he doesn't even care if anybody worships him. And his abilities are as an 8th level fighter, 18th level magic user, 10th level illusionist. So pretty potent. And again, if a god has... his plane is Prime Material / Concordant Opposition. If a god has Prime Material listed, I have it that it's our Prime Material plane, and we know Zaggig is from our Prime Material plane from Greyhawk. He's the sole known servant of Bokob. He's mad only in that only Bokob can understand how he thinks and acts. So Zaggig might not be insane at all. It might just be that he's operating on a far higher level. He's pretty tough. He's likely to appear with a vorpal blade in one hand and a Wand of Wonder in the other. And one neat thing about Zaggig is harmful effects of items that he employs do not affect him. If he put on a ring of weakness, all others within a 10-foot radius would be affected instead of him. He can strike with a padded club or put a haste spell on the opponent. Zaggig seems, despite his seeming madness, he survives, carries out his assignments, and moves on. He has the attributes and abilities of a demigod and can be hit only by +2 or better weapons. It doesn't say what benefits, if any, you gain as a follower of Zaggig, which I was a little surprised about. I'm wondering if maybe Gary Gygax felt we shouldn't have worshippers of Zaggig in our campaigns. And then the last guy we have for today is Ola Damara. His portfolio is music, revelry, roguery, tricks and jokes, wine and spirits. He's a party god. Armor class -9, 199 hit points, magic resistance 65%. His alignment is neutral with chaotic leanings. His worshippers' alignments are neutral, chaotic good, and neutral good. Symbol is a laughing mask. He's from the prime material plane. So again, this for me would be that he was a god who was born, and he's a lesser god. He was born on our prime material plane. Whether he was a human and became a god, we don't know. Ola Damara is the laughing rogue. He's a minstrel and miscreant. He's a favorite deity of many thieves. Worshippers includes bards, jesters, vagabonds, beggars, and common folk as well. He likes to wander the prime material plane in his various disguises, and he likes to steal things and party. He has masks which allows him to change self for as long a duration and as often as he wishes. You can't tell he's wearing the mask when he's got it on. When Ola Damara was once trapped by Zaggig, the Mad Archmage forced him into a carapace animal shape as a punishment for attempting to steal Zaggig's trove. Ola Damara escaped his fate. He retains the ability to put a horny shell on his back. Sometimes the laughing rogue will use this to cover his escape. He'll block a passageway with the shell, and off he goes. Kind of interesting. Ola Damara has not seen a lot of use in our Greyhawk campaign. I think only because we don't have a ton of bard characters. So we only have 2 active in our entire campaign, and neither one of them actually worships Ola Damara. So it's interesting, but not real popular at our table. His clerics are trained to have the ability to hide in shadows, to be a thief, as equal to a thief 1 level lower than they are. In other words, if the cleric is 5th level, he can hide in shadows as a 4th level thief. They are taught musical instruments, those equal to those of a 1st level bard when at 3rd level, a 2nd level bard at 4th level, and a 3rd level bard at 6th and higher cleric levels. So that can be useful. There's a lot of magic items that are musical in nature that are actually more powerful when used by a bard, or in this case I would allow it because it's a cleric with bardic training. Finally, clerics of Ola Damara gain the ability to change self at 8th and higher level, the duration being as if the caster were an illusionist to the same level. They usually dress in brown garments of brown, green, and greenish brown, and green and black. Services include much singing, chanting, feasting, and libations of fermented berry beverage, wine. Ola Damara can only be hit by +3 or better weapons, and has all the powers typical of a lesser god. So we got a shorter offering in this one, just the 3. The next issue is going to make up for that. Just kind of want to go through this. Dwarves in Space was kind of an interesting article that would tie into Traveler very nicely. Nice Indiana Jones Grenadier listing. I do want to show one thing here. It was an ad I noticed when I was reading through this. I have that particular figure, and I really like him. Just kind of weird to see your figure sitting in an old Dragon magazine, but I guess they had to be advertised somewhere. So Dwarves in Space, we get some stuff for how you can incorporate them into your Traveler game. I might take a better look at this article sometime down the line for Traveler. And then we go to Makika, which is a 4th to 7th level game designed by Gali Sanchez. Sorry. And then going through the rest of the nice little space opera ad. Ooh. Nice little Judges Guild ad for Darkling Ship. It's so weird to go through these old dragons and actually page through page after page to see the old stuff, the stuff that's been out of print for decades now and is considered pretty obscure. It's just odd to go through and see these, but that's why I like having these. And then, of course, we've got the issue, the What's New. I actually loved this cartoon when it was out. What's New with Phil and Dixie. I used to read this every time it came out. And then, of course, Wormy. Who didn't love Wormy? I love the artwork in Wormy. I have to admit, Wormy sometimes didn't make a ton of sense to me, but I liked it anyway. Dave Trampier at his best. And there we go. That's him from 1983. So that's it for this episode of page 121. Just a quick look at some gods of Greyhawk. The next issue has a little bonus to it. I'll be issuing that one the next week or two. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you like what you heard and saw, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. And if you have any suggestions for future episodes, please don't hesitate to let me know. That's it for today on page 121. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.